Good morning and welcome to this presentation on the Liturgy of the Hours. My name is Christopher Karstens. I'm the Director of the Office for Sacred Worship in the Diocese of La Crosse, Wisconsin. I'm the editor and publisher of the liturgical bulletin called the Adoremus Bulletin. I'm an alum of the Liturgical Institute and am also currently a visiting faculty member for the Liturgical Institute. And I'm glad to be able to present this morning on the Liturgy of the Hours. And as we begin, I'd like you to consider this picture. Certainly you recognize the person on the right. This is Pope Benedict XVI. To his right, our left, is his older brother, Georg. And both of these brothers were ordained in 1951. So in this liturgist's math is correct, in the year 2021, they both celebrated their 70th anniversary to the priesthood. Georg died in 2021, and together you see them praying what is the Liturgy of the Hours. I just want you to think how many times a priest, for example, or a pope would celebrate the Liturgy of the Hours, just say in a ministry, a priesthood that lasted 50 years. Well, if you prayed this 5 times a day, 365 days in the year, over 50 years, you would have 91,250 different occasions to pray the Liturgy of the Hours. And if each of these times was 10 minutes each, this adds up to about 15,000 hours or 634 constant days. This is just trying to make the point that a priest, for example, or a religious is opening up his breviary, as it's often called, almost as often as he says the Mass. If you say a daily Mass, that lasts 50 minutes, and you're praying your office, and that is 50 minutes. You're using the breviary just as much as you are the Mass. And so the question is, if one is going to pray the Liturgy of the Hours that often, why don't we try to love it the same time that we do it, and that it's not just kind of random rote words. And that's what I hope to accomplish in this section together today. So what we're going to do over the course of the 5 sections is first talk about what's called the Laudes Canticum, or what is we would call the hymn of praise. And this is what is the reality of the Liturgy of the Hours, what's going on behind the scenes. Second, we're going to look at the foundations of the Liturgy of the Hours, how the Psalms, we're going to take a closer look at the Psalms and consider the different hours that make up the Liturgy of the Hours. Third, we're going to look practically how to actually pray one of the hours of the Liturgy of the Hours. Fourth, we're going to see historically how it is that we moved from Jesus' command to pray without ceasing, to pray constantly, to ending up with 4 volumes. This is one of the volumes, 4 volumes of a 2,000-page book. How is it that we got there over the course of time? And fifthly, we'll look at how is we can pray it more fruitfully, more spiritually. Or if we want to summarize it this way, session 1 will be about the theology of the Liturgy of the Hours. Session 2, about the sacramentality of the Liturgy of the Hours. Session 3, the practicality of the Liturgy of the Hours. 4 will be about the history of the Liturgy of the Hours, and 5 will be about the spirituality of the Liturgy of the Hours. I'd like to point out the sources from which this presentation has come. The first is from the Apostolic Constitution of Pope Paul VI, called Laudes Canticum. This is the letter with which he promulgated the current Liturgy of the Hours after the Second Vatican Council. John Paul II, for his part, did a series of, as you may know, the popes do Wednesday catecheses. And for a long part of his papacy, he spent the Wednesdays doing catecheses on the Psalms and the Canticles of morning prayer. Every single psalm and every single canticle at morning prayer, he did some catechesis on. And then he began to do catechesis on the Psalms and the Canticles of evening prayer, and that's when he died. So Pope Benedict XVI picked up the baton and completed the catechesis on the Psalms. And he also wrote a letter called Verbum Domini in 2010. You might remember we celebrated a year devoted to St. Paul and the place of the Word of God in the church. And so at the end of that year, the Holy Father wrote this letter called Verbum Domini. That will be another one of the sources. And then finally, we're using the general instruction of the Liturgy of the Hours that it appears at the beginning of the book. So the sources are all primary here. They're magisterial sources from the church itself. But I've also drawn from some, mostly for historical purposes, these are kind of standard texts, certainly in the area of the Liturgy of the Hours. The one is a volume of The Church at Prayer, edited by Martimore. And the other is Liturgy of the Hours, East and West, by Father Robert Taft.